Welcome to Laptop Radio. Today we have David Nguyen, Chairman of Midas Protocol with us, and the topic is Midas Protocol, lighting speed and zero fees for mass adoption. David, are you there?
Hi, it's David here, calling from Singapore. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So David, before we go into Midas Protocol, why don't you tell us about your story?
Okay, my story or my last story, personal story. I'm coming from the tech background, but now moving into developing more business relating to crypto currency and blockchain technologies together with the people at Midas Protocol. And you want me to introduce a little about Midas, how we
Yeah,
come
sure.
together?
Why don't you tell us about Midas Protocol? What is Midas, and what is it intended to do?
Okay. At the beginning, we came together to develop some solution for crypto traders. Mainly, at the beginning, is focused for crypto traders. But along the way, after we create a wallet, exchange, and solution to help crypto traders, we see that there's a needed to bring it to the next level because when the new users coming to this space, they may have problem of using the blockchain technologies in their daily life, and so we enlarge our portfolio to make it to bring in more the products line that can help the normal ordinary layman people. So that ecosystem start to build from that point. Until now, Midas Protocol has more than 20 different product lines relating to crypto and blockchain technologies. Basically, now it's become an ecosystem rather than just focus on the crypto trade. Yes, so now Midas Protocol, we have wallet, we have centralized exchange, decentralized exchange, we have a series of B apps, we have our own public blockchain that have lightning speed and zero fee for the users, so that we can bring the adoption to the next level.
Let's talk a little bit about lighting speed. Like when you say lighting speed, what do you mean? Of course, blockchain is still a little bit slow, right? And I mean, faster than banks in some circumstances. And then of course I heard of lighting networks. I'm not sure even, so what does it mean to have lighting speed?
We create our own public blockchain that can solve all the problem of the many previous blockchains. So like if you use a Bitcoin, you know that sometimes normally when you send Bitcoin, it may take you very long. So when it take you very long like that will be a problem, a challenge for my micropayment and at the e-commerce or buying and selling at the consumer side, because when you go to buy a coffee it will take you a long time to wait for the payment to be done. So for that part we solve that problem. Our payment system going through our own public blockchain now take only millisecond. So it is very fast. So the moment you click on this phone is the payment will go through and appear on the other phone almost like instantly.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, next to it, another challenge to bring to the adoption to the higher level is the fee. So you can see that even though blockchain is very good for this kind of thing because it doesn't take into the into account the volumes of the payment. You send $5 or you send $1 billion kind of value is still one transaction. So it is it's a very cost saving for big amount of money to be sent for cross border. But then for my micro payment, it's still a problem because if you send you buy a burger or coffee, and the fee is still quite substantial. So our way to develop the public blockchain, our own public blockchain, is how to remove that kind of fees for the users. So we create a system that remove the fee, so bring the fee to zero, for the users, so that the adoption level can be much higher. So shops can take payment, people can send payment, and everything will be free for the ordinary users.
Yeah, let me just paraphrase that. So you're saying that because microtransaction is still a challenge for the industry, because you don't want it to buy coffee, which may cost $2 or $3, and then pay transaction fees that are $2 or $3, right? Because that doesn't make sense.
Right, exactly. Right,
So, and basically microtransactions are, it just means small transactions, like things that you pay like pennies to a few dollars for, instead of high value transaction, you're not buying a car. That's really different. If you're paying like 60,000 for a car, then your transaction fee might be okay. But if you're buying something small, you don't want to pay double that price, and which is awesome.
exactly.
And so you're making your own blockchain, and it basically there's no fees, right? And it's really fast. When blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain is about 10 minutes, I believe, right, per transaction. But when you say
Right.
like how fast is lightning speed?
It's millisecond, so it's less than a fraction of a second.
Okay, so basically like super, okay, so less than a fraction of a second is basically what you mean by lighting speed. And I wanted to ask you, like, when do you come up with the idea? Like, so it's 2019 right now. When your team is working together, I know, Dr. David, you have a degree, with extensive technical background, right? So when did your
Right.
team come up with the idea, and how do you guys approach it to work together?
We, most of our founders came from the same university, which is a Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. It's one of the top university here, meeting top one or two in Asia. So we all came from um, on the five founders, four came from that university. Two of us came from the computing background, computing science in at Nanyang Tech,
Mm-hmm,
and two come from the business background from Nanyang Tech as well. So I came from the background. I also have an MBA at the Nanyang Business School,
mm-hmm,
the same university, and that's the reason why we know each other from the time of university time, students time. From that time we already mingle around and share ideas and dreams and so on. But of course, when after school, each person go to different company.
mm-hmm,
Some go to research institute. The others go to work for Google and so on. And after 15, 20 years later, when we met each other again and we share more about our dreams, and at that time we decided to come back together because we are already at the middle kind of age, like 35, 40 years old, some kind of things like that. So we think that we are mature enough to start something new and exciting. So, and we
yeah,
also quite stable in life already. So when we came back and form a team, and very fast we grow that team to more than 50 programmers. Then we set up our own blockchain center in Hanoi, Vietnam,
mm-hmm,
and that point we start to build more products and relating to crypto and blockchain. Some of products, and we see that there's not only from the crypto side, we see that if we develop something that can be free and fast, that also can be used for public sector, and also can be used for non-for-profit activities. Because if you develop a blockchain that costs a lot of gas fee and a lot
mm-hmm.
of fee for transaction, it will be not very good for non-for-profit, because non-for-profit organization, they already don't have much funds. They have to save the funds for the charity and so on. They don't have much money to pay for the transaction fee and so on. So we would want to do something that have the impact on the users,
Hmm.
including the public sector as well as the non-for-profit organizations.
Let me ask you about your aha moment, and I mean sometimes we have an idea and it may or may not work, right? But sometimes, there are certain situations when we were like, ah, that is the idea that we're going to bring to market. So when did your team, when you're working on Midas or even at the beginning doing conception, right? Do you have that moment when you're like, uh-huh, we need to bring this to market?
Um, I think that we are more like a continuous improvement kind of development.
Hmm.
We have a lot of aha moment, but it's kind of one after another,
Yeah.
uh,
What
rather
was
than
the
a
first
big.
one?
The first one was the time that when we watch the market, and we can see that there's no a single wallet, universal wallet. So at that point, in fact, until now, our wallet, Midas wallet, is still, I would say that the most has the most functionalities. We have five pillars on the wallet. So the wallet can store, integrated with more than 20 different chains. So you can store more than 10,000 of tokens and coin on the wallet. So it's on chain. It's decentralized wallet. Then directly from the wallet, we have the functionality for people to be able to trade and swap directly.
Hmm.
Then people can trade with centralized chain and decentralized chain directly from the wallet. So the
Hmm.
money never left their pocket. And the third is spending. So we have on wallet the app store. So that is something that make people also they like it very much, because when you have the apps, decentralized application directly on your wallet, so you can
Hmm.
play with it, you can do things with it, and when you need to pay, you just pay with it, because it's a wallet. And if you need to sign, your signature to do some action is dry on your wallet, so it's very easy to do so. At the beginning, we see that there's no some single wallet that can answer to all the demand, for the
Except
crypto
for
use.
WeChat, right?
Nice. So it is similar to what we just have achieved, but in
Yeah.
the crypto space. Yeah, in the crypto space. So that's the reason why we decide to do, and we call that the 5S wallet. 5S meaning we can store, we can swap, we can share, we can spend, and we can stake. Now we add in a new pillar. Now it's a staking pillar whereby people can stake, and stake is like you send you you deposit money into the bank and you earn interest. Similar like that, but directly on your wallet. So in fact, even if you stake, meaning you lock your crypto inside your wallet, the crypto still belong to you, but the interest is generated. Because we based on a model that is a temporary shortage of supply can
Hmm.
create values to the market. So basically, many people stake in our wallet, and it reduces the supply of the crypto. And suddenly, we bring when the demand's going up and the shortage of supply, the price will go up. And that's how you can contribute to the whole ecosystem, even though the crypto doesn't leave your wallet. But the moment you stake or lock it away from the supply, you in fact contribute to the growth of the ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you use or see payment as a vertical and make it seamless, for the people, right? Because decentralized ethos, we don't want to call users anymore because we wanted to see them as people, right? Or see us as people. So if you allow the world or the people to actually use it and seamlessly and easily, right, to transfer, um, cryptocurrency as, as payments, right, method, or currency. I think
Right.
it's pretty, important, because there's still, I mean, UX is still very important, and we don't have, really seamless UX, yeah, except for maybe Coinbase in the US. Binance is fairly complicated now, right? um, so if there's an app that allows, people to use it pretty easily, and they can basically, buy things and do things with it seamlessly, kind of like WeChat, that is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. One of the challenge we still can face today that the blockchain is complicated.
Hmm.
So for the layman people, using a crypto wallet is still fairly complex and fairly difficult. Some people they don't know what is a private key, why it's so long, why they seed word, and what if they lost that seed word? We cannot help them if they lost their private key or seed words. If people they come and say still don't understand that there's no way to get it back. Once they lost it. So it's quite still quite difficult for normal people, but we try our best to make our products as intuitive as possible, as easy as possible. So the moment they are crossing the first step of difficulty, which is the private key and secret word, then after that everything will be easy for them.
Yeah.
We yeah, that's how we are trying to do. We are trying to create the product as intuitive and easy to use.
Yeah, let me ask you about your vision. You're a little bit different because you're located in Singapore, right? And you're not in China nor Hong Kong, you know, um, nor like Southeast Asia per se, right? Singapore has a lot of laws.
Right.
Yet it's very high tech, and it's almost like it's favorable to startups. So with that in mind, what is your vision, and what is your vision for Singapore, and what is your vision, for the world, the rest of the world?
Yeah. I think that everybody has a dream of bringing something good to the world, but the world is made of many nations. So first, we have to bring it to our nations.
Hmm.
We all, all the founders of Midas Protocol were Vietnamese, right? So we born Vietnamese, but then when we grow up to when reaching the student life, we all go overseas for educations, and most of us stay overseas, and especially in Singapore. But Singapore and Vietnam, relationship in terms of education is very strong. So we all study from the top school in Singapore, and after that, of course, Singapore provide a much better ecosystem to grow startups. So that's the reason why we stay back in Singapore and grow our business in Singapore. So we have a very deep rooted in Vietnam, good connection and everything in Vietnam. So that market has 100 millions of potential users. So even though we are very stronghold in Singapore, but we are very deep rooted in Vietnam. That's we think that is the two wings of our strength, having the access to the world by using Singapore as a stepping stone, a platform, an enabling platform, and at the same time having the access to the pool of developers and programmers, very talented, and there's a lot of them as well in Vietnam, and having the access to also to the population, the consumer users of Vietnam market, give us a very strong starting point for the company. But then, all because of that, whatever the solution we are developing, we are trying to get to the mass. We don't
Hmm.
trying to create a solution for just a group of people in Singapore or or modern countries. We're trying to get the solution that can reach to even the poor, the unbanked, the people of bigger social populations and so on. So we think that at the point right now we can see that blockchain and crypto is at the point of no return, meaning that we can not come back to a world with. without crypto anymore, right? I
I mean,
think we will move forward.
can we say that
Yeah, yeah,
blockchain
yeah.
will not exist yet?
We cannot come back to that point. I think it's no return already. So the world now will move forward, and blockchain and crypto will be here to stay.
Hmm.
So that is the reason why we think that we are lucky to be born in this age of time, because we can see that we are like Jack Ma in the in the time of internet just came out. It presents to us such a huge opportunity, similar to the time that internet just came out. Who can spot it? Who can use it? Who can develop things on top of it to solve the problem for the world? To help to uh, bigger number of people, then that person will become successful like Jack Ma, and I think that is still at the very early stage of blockchain and crypto development. And then who can survive through this kind of winter and difficult time, time will tell. But at least at the beginning, we have to focus ourselves on the values that we are creating rather than the money that we are creating, right? So value first, money later. So my point is that there's a lot of company out there, a lot of tech people out there. We are working hardly together now, to bring some better solution for the world.
Yeah,
I think that blockchain is here to stay, and more and more government will have to accept it. Law will have to change to accommodate it. Like in Singapore, we work quite closely with MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore,
yeah,
as well as Singapore Fintech Association, and many associations in the ASEAN region. We work closely with them so that we are not doing something illegal, but we have to help the law to cover the gray area and find a way to develop a regulation framework that doesn't stop innovation. So that's good about Singapore. They don't want to stop innovation. So
yeah,
they have all type of system to help the sandbox system, startup system, all type of discussion, and even consultation. Meaning the government really respect the tech people. They consult with the tech people before they come out with some kind of regulation and so on. So basically, nobody there will be no law that come out of blue sky just like that and fall into your head and make you suddenly a tech person become an illegal criminal, right? Kind of
yeah,
things like that. So this is something good about Singapore. Even though they have a lot of rules, a lot of laws, a lot of regulations, but they do it for the great of the society. They don't do it just for the sake of getting some tax from you, right?
yeah. Yeah, I have friends in who live in Singapore, and there's a lot of regulation. At the same time, it's also it could be good for the people who live there. And I understand you because I work with the California government, the blockchain California Blockchain Coalition as well. As the Georgia one on just really facilitating a discourse on what is blockchain, how can we use the technology, and in California we passed two bills last year. One of them is creating a working group, so now a lot of people are part of that working group, and they're advising California on at least consulting with California, collaborating to see what works and what doesn't. And I think that's very useful that the government is working with the industry.
Yes, usually people think that the tech people are the geeky guys, hiding in their cave, doing the coding and so on. But more and more, we have to step out. We have to
Yeah,
engage with the crowd. We have to engage with the government, the industries people. We have to help them to set the standards. We have to help them to get to the adoption and make use of blockchain technologies. So that's the reason why for Midas protocol we also participate to classes and courses in university. Whenever the university wants some help, some kind of crash course, for politicians, for example. Sometimes we also go to give some kind of course for the young politicians, because we
yeah,
if we want that to come to the war, now we need the politicians to understand what is does it mean
yeah,
blockchain.
I,
Many of them will think that blockchain is Bitcoin and Bitcoin is illegal and it's something bad for the world.
well, I think we need to educate lawyers too. So I think I've seen some transactions with lawyers, and and I think I went to a few conferences where there's only lawyers there, and I think some of the lawyers have no idea what blockchain is, and it's kind of important that lawyers get educated because they write these transactions and they negotiate these deals, right? And how would they understand and negotiate it without knowing fundamentally what the technology is about, right? So I hope
Exactly.
to see yeah, I hope to see more of that, so that when you look at a transaction or an agreement, you don't get surprised. you know well, this is
Well, yeah.
mobile, what does it have to do with
And
blockchain, right? I mean, so I've saw a lot of that. So hopefully, not only politicians but also lawyers are educated about it, because they need to facilitate agreements between parties, right?
right. And another thing that I think also important is how to, we can help to bring more awareness by books and magazine, for example. So we do have our own magazines in tech,
Awesome.
and we also contribute to publish several books in blockchain and in coding on blockchain and so on, and published in Vietnam to help the general people as well.
hmm So let me just really go back to the Midas team. So I know that a lot of the founders are tech people. So my question is, does your team consist of a mix of business, blockchain, developer, technologists, marketing, and financial members? Do you have a mixed team basically?
Yes, very mixed, in fact. So basically, the COO, it is he's from the hardware side, okay,
Mm-hmm.
whereby the CTO is came from the blockchain side, and now the CSO is come from the AI side, okay, and that is tech. But then CFO, I'm chairman and CFO, so I take care of the finance because I came from the background of finance from MBA from Nanyang Tech. So we have also CMO, which is he was in charge of Vietnam at Google, but he left Google to join us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is quite a diversified background in terms of the founders. Of course, but under it in the company, then all the departments, because they are come from many different background and station everywhere. You know that nowadays a tech company we don't really need to sit next to each other, especially only the core coding. The core coding they have to stay together. So that is in at our coding house in Hanoi. But then the rest of them can be very mobile, right? So we have
Mm-hmm.
people in Germany, in Russia, in US, in Malaysia, Ireland, UK, Philippines, Indonesia. So it is quite scattered, all the team members. And that's how we can, access also to different market by using right away our people on the ground.
Awesome. Um, and I think we spoke about a little bit about the problem that the team is trying to solve, right? You know, Basically solving the speed of a chain and also transaction fees, especially for microtransaction. So you don't have to pay that much when you use it. Um, so let me ask you, why is your solution important? I mean, why use blockchain, right? I mean, you can just use a database, or
Oh,
we can
sure.
use like a centralized, platform, and we can use WeChat, right? Or or the payment
Right.
system in Singapore. Why do we need blockchain, and why is your solution important?
Um, why do we need blockchain? That is, I think that question, many people can answer for that question because everybody love transparency.
Yeah.
Problem come when the power is centralized. So you can see it in politics, you can see it at in business, in the market. whenever the power is centralized, problem will arise. So
Hmm.
my point here that with all the other blockchain company, we have the same view and vision about that. So we have to develop something that doesn't belong to us. We have to develop something that belong to the people.
Hmm.
And it will become like Hydra, whereby you cannot kill that monster Hydra, right? Because there's no head. It belong to the people. So we develop a public blockchain. So that blockchain is run by supernode, and the supernode can be anyone on Earth, right? So my point here is that uh, it is a solution. It is public blockchain that belong to the people, similar way Bitcoin is. So there's no way you can do it. Even the company, our company go off, for example, or being taken away by the government, for example.
Hmm.
Then the public blockchain is still there. The solution is still there. It belongs to the people. So my point here that is something great about Bitcoin that provide that there's a way we can create value by giving values to the people.
Okay,
So
let me summarize that before we go forward. So you're saying that the difference between centralized and decentralization is that for centralized institution, they need to be there for an operation to run, right? So basically, if a bank has your money, if they're not there anymore, you might lose your money. However,
exactly,
for
exactly,
decentralized system or ecosystem, when the platform or the ecosystem or the technology, or like if like the team died, right,
right,
or something happens, that technology is still there.
right, exactly.
Okay, so let me ask you why.
Because it is like the business going concerns, right? It's something you create. You want it to exist uh, and serve the people longer, right? Because of the whole ecosystem, in fact, it belongs to the people. For example, we create the blockchain with run on top of a series of supernodes.
Hmm.
But who can own that supernode? Anyone can own that supernode. We don't even know who's that person. That person can have a server, connect to the network, run the software, and suddenly they become a block producer. Suddenly they become able to confirm blocks and produce blocks and hold the chain data and so on. It's not us, so it is not a computer or a server that we control. So basically, the chain is run by itself, by its own code, and it's using the supernode that not belong to many people on Earth. It doesn't belong to us. So even if we disappear, the money is still there, the chain is still there, the crypto of the people in their wallet is still there. It doesn't need us uh, to make sure that it's there because it's already order the chain, right? So that's how we are trying to come up with solution that can run by itself, that belong to the people.
Okay, so let's talk about the concept of belong to the people, right? So notes are, I mean, for peer-to-peer network, basically there's a consensus layer on the blockchain, and in the consensus layer, there's different nodes, and these nodes, like or point of contact, is just run by different people, and so it's a little bit anonymous, and we call that decentralization, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So why, so that's owned by the people, right? And in centralized system, we pay fees to a centralized entity. How is that compared to more of a decentralized network? So you basically told me that I don't have to pay any fee and it's really fast. So how do you make money, right? So, centralized entity, for example, like Facebook, Google, they make money through ads and selling our data or misusing our data, right? So how do how do decentralized networks make money? And I mean, do you guys get paid? How does that work?
Okay. Basically, we it is in the code, so we create in the code that it's a mineable coin, right? Blockchain is a kind of mineable coin, so we reward to the supernode. We
Hmm.
reward to the supernode that the people who contribute the computing power, right,
Hmm.
to do the block producing, to produce block, and also to make sure about the consensus. Uh, by doing so, we reward to the node people by giving them the native coin. So now every block that they produce. In our case here is every 2 seconds, right? Every 2 seconds they
Yeah.
receive some rewards. That is how the supernode earn the rewards. But then, well, for the people, we create a system. It's I think it's very creative. We call that is a bandwidth and energy system. Meaning that, let's say, a normal person using our blockchain, they will have a bandwidth, daily bandwidth of 10,000 bandwidth. That 10,000 bandwidth can make them being able to do about more than 100 transactions a day freely. Okay, so if they need to transact more than 100 transactions per day, what they need to do is they need to freeze some of the very small amount of the coin. If they
Hmm.
freeze, let's say one coin, the bandwidth suddenly improve to maybe several hundred thousand, so they can do
Hmm.
thousands of transactions at zero fee. But each person like that we call when they need to do multiple transaction, they just need to freeze a coin, and that coin is not lost. 3 days later, they don't need any more, or 24 days later, they don't need to have high transaction anymore. They can unfreeze, and the coin go back to them. So in fact, for those people, it's free to use, and if they need a higher amount of transaction, they will need to freeze in order to temporarily contribute to the reduction of supplies. So that's a system what we create that I think it is a very creative way to uh, to give the people the free of use, okay, not ordinary people. But then for the ordinary people, when it's free, it will, yeah, bring a lot of people to our ecosystem to use, and also shops, also e-commerce platform, also play gaming platform, e-sport platform. They all come to us to build the solution on top, because they know that when the solution come out, the normal user, when they use it, there will no cost, zero cost for the users.
Hmm.
Okay, so even the charity also come to build on us. Even the government sector, public sector, they also come and develop some solution on top of our blockchain, because they know that when it come out, for the normal user, it will be free.
So let me ask you about your competitor, because there are like a number of blockchains, of course, right? And there are like a number of protocols. So how is your protocol different from all the ones that are out there? There seems to be a number of exchanges and wallets. It's so convoluted. How do you distinguish yourself from your competition?
To be frank, that is something great about the world. Whenever you do something good, there will be somebody doing it as well.
Hmm.
So my point is that we see our competitor like value supplier. So because of them, we have to work harder. We have to be more innovative and creative to bring more things to our solution. I would say that for every single product in our ecosystem, there would be someone else out there to do the same thing. Maybe some of them do better, maybe some of them do not as good as us, but then they're all there. So if we compete using only a single products, that would be tough for us. But then, we have the whole ecosystem that have a very high synergies. Some people who develop wallet out there, but they have only wallet. They don't have other things. So it'll be tough for them as well. But for us, when we have a wallet, but we also have a chain, we also have a public blockchain, we also have a DR ecosystem. We even have our own e-commerce platform.
Hmm.
So all those things come together and help each other. So in terms of competition, as a single product, we have a high level of competition. But if in terms of competition with the whole ecosystem, with more than 20 products that we have created,
Hmm.
then I think that we have very high chance of compete with anyone.
Let me ask you a little about privacy and data, because I think we're going to transition beyond digitalization into more of, an analysis, right? Or, a synthesis of data, if you will. Um, so since we're moving into just, oh, you can go to Google and search for data to, how are these people using data? I mean, using, just analyzing data, right? From people. Um, and targeting them and whatnot. For blockchain projects and AI, it's really you will have a number of data, right? So how does your company and team view and perceive, the data that you will get on your platform?
Yeah, to be frank, that part is still quite centralized. I think that I understand that, but we know that there are friends out there, developing some blockchain for storing data and return the ownership of data to the people. So
Yep.
I think that when they do that well and proper, we would want to integrate it and having that part being also on blockchain. But currently at this stage of development, I can tell you that most of the blockchain company is still very similar to the traditional IT company. So we
Yeah.
still have a lot of people's data, right? We still,
Well, I
but
mean,
that
that's
is
why
a
I asked the question, right? Because, I think there are a lot of, people from Web 1.0 or Web 1.2 or whatever, right? And they're building these blockchain companies, but they still have the perception and mentality of the past. And they're bringing that to, blockchain. Because, I see blockchain AI as tools, right? And they're building companies and they're using this as a tool. So whatever perception and philosophy that they have about data comes from the past, and then they still have that. Yet there's still a movement that says, the people should own their data, right? And we don't want middlemen. People should have their
right.
wallet. And we need
No,
education for the people. But at the same time, we need to start educating the people so that they know and choose wisely, right? So that big companies don't take advantage of that.
yeah,
So, and
and
maybe there
yeah,
needs to be more education and questions about how companies are using data that they get.
yes. And my point is that as technologists in the blockchain technology, we founders should have the mindset of not following the footstep of those kind of big firm that have all the data leak and so on, right? You can see. But the mindset of the founder should be always to be protecting the data from the clients and not using it, without their consent. That is the backbone, the mindset behind the action. If you change the mindset properly, the attitude, then the action will follow, right? But
Yeah.
if they want to make money, fast money, quick bucks, they will do anything to make money, right? So in this crypto space, you see so many hacking, scamming, and so on. So who will uphold the standard? In terms of developing a great technology, but also the standard in the morality. The standard of not using the data of the people without their consent. It is something that that the founders and the technology should hold dear.
Well,
And I have to, and of course, the technology will come, in order to do so. But we need to move first with our mindset.
yeah, I mean, I think though, if no one asks and no one cares, or it will continue to be the way, like the past, right? Because
Right,
these companies that we use are gotten really big. I mean, they not gotten big not only for their core products, but for a lot of the other properties that they own as well. They have the same mindset of mining data. But if we don't really care about it and don't ask questions and don't talk about it, then it will continue to be the same way. And
yeah,
what good is a technical revolution when it's going to be the same? And the people who make money from the past is basically controlling the technology of today and tomorrow, and implement it the same way, and making money the same way, right?
right,
So,
very right.
so So, regarding Midas protocol, what is that, or entrepreneurship, or as a technologist and a CFO, what is one advice that you would like to provide to the larger community?
One of the things that we see very frequently in Asia. I'm not sure about other part of the world, but in Asia, there's a lot of company claim to be a blockchain company, and they do all type of scamming scheme,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of community and a lot of public people get scammed into those kind of things. Some scam can reach so big amount, hundreds of million of dollars in Asia, and I would say that, before you enter into any investment scheme, you get to know whether they have real technology behind or not, and so on, and don't just being led by greed and you know uh, what you want to have more money, but then when it's too good to be true, usually it's not true. So basically, before you want to use the technology, that is a good things. But if you just want to get fast money, then maybe you should rethink, right, about that. So I would think that before you jump into any projects and so on, there's some of the things that you have to consider is the technology behind it, whether you have a products or not. You can try to use the products and understand more. Before you invest in anything. My point, one of the very bad thing that happened in Asia right now, yeah, is in the last several years as well, is it harmed the industry as in general. It harmed the blockchain in the industry because of all those scamming, all the problem. It caused social unrest. It caused also for the government to pay more attention to regulate and so on. Basically, it harm us. It harm the people who do the real technologies. So
Hmm.
for the public, please, pay more attention to the technology rather than just a quick bucks that you can make in the crypto market.
Yeah.
Because this technology has a lot to offer, bring a lot of good value to the world, and that is something that we want to do. We don't want to be mixed with the whole group that people say that those guys are crypto guys, the bad guys. But among crypto guys, there's a lot of good guys as well, right? So we don't want to be in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think a bat market, when the market is low, it's kind of good in a way, because a lot of people who wanted to be interested in blockchain, just for the quick buck, usually they get tired and when they're not making money, and then they leave, right? So, I'm hoping that a lot of the greedy people has left. And then, like doing a down market, you see a few people, at conferences and at different
Right, right.
events, and I
Exactly.
mean, they may still believe in the technology, and the market, right? And so it's kind of good to know that people are still building, for the longer run, right? Not just because the market is high and they can, basically trade and buy coins and then dump them, right?
Right, exactly. So during the bad time, we go to conferences, it's empty, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, during the palm or the good market, you can you see people drive Lambo in, right? So that
Yeah,
is
and it's
something
kind of good
which
to
we have.
see. I think it's
Yeah,
still good to see people, like in the down market though, because you know that those people really believe in, or have some kind of faith in the technology.
right, exactly.
So, my last question is, where could people learn more about Midas protocol?
Of course, we have our well, the simplest way is our website, but our ecosystem is quite complex. So,
Mhm.
joining our community on Telegram, we have dedicated about 20 dedicated community managers. So,
Mhm.
ask any question that you want on the Telegram channel. Then all the admins there will help you, give you the right document, because we have more than 20 different products line. So ask any question if you want to. But the starting point is to read on our website and enjoy the Telegram groups and follow our news on Twitter, Facebook, and so on. But the best way is to come to the channel and just having some chat with us, and we can share more about vision, mission, and also all the doc and the guidance needed.
Yeah. So your community, your Telegram is Midas Protocol Global or Midas Protocol Community. Is it both?
Midas to go global. It is our main channel, and we
Okay.
also have the other languages, like Russian or Vietnam. So
Okay.
if you
Got it.
speak, you just go to the global. Yes, if having any other Telegram channel for the language that you speak, then they may have some. If not, then we just use English.
Okay, and then your website is Midas Protocol, Midas protocol.io. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Yes,
Okay,
right.
awesome. So, David, I just want to thank you for your time, and I will share this on my podcast as well on Apple, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify, and it's just called Laptop Radio. I just want to thank you for your time, and I'll see you later.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And when you have the link, yeah, we will want to share it to our community as well.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye.